In this video, I am sharing the current setup for our internet setup in our motorhome. Since the technology changes all the time, we have to change with it. First off, this video will not be technical. It's just high level, although I may accidentally slip in a techie term from time to time. I can't help it, but we do have other videos on the internet stuff that goes deeper into the technical aspects, or you can just search online to clarify anything around this, or ask questions in the comments. I'll be glad to follow up. But really, most people don't want technical content and are not technical, so I'm trying to cater to that more. I will also point you toward excellent technical resources that can guide you as needed in case you're not technical but want to do a solution similar to this. They offer free help to some level, but they also offer paid help to get you to a more comprehensive solution if needed. It's called Mobile Must Have. Their website is mobilemusthave.com. And I do recommend a membership to their website. It provides a lot of perks and benefits that they will outline there on the webpage for you. And this is a good place to buy all of your technology equipment, data plans, water filtration, power protection systems for your RV, and other things as well. If you know what you're doing, you're not going to need to pay them their consultative fee for this, but if you're a newbie and you do want to have their most robust solutions figured out, then you can pay them a very fair price for that additional help. Based on lots and lots of posts on Facebook that I've seen over the years, I really want to highlight the difference between Wi-Fi and internet. People tend to use them interchangeably, but they're really not. Wi-Fi is the local area network, the local wireless network in your house, in your motorhome, in a business, at a school. And it's just the way you access the network from a wireless device. The internet is that global network connecting many, many resources. It's a network of networks. It's the ultimate network of networks. Every network on the planet is connected to each other through the internet if it's meant to be online. People often seem to confuse this and say, what do you use for Wi-Fi when they post a question? Wi-Fi is just your local network. Internet is the internet. Wi-Fi is how you get to your internet provider typically in most situations. So just clarifying that to help people understand that difference. When we first got started traveling full-time, the biggest concern was reliable internet access because we're going to be working our Monday through Friday 8 to 5 jobs every day, and we needed to be online in order to make money to keep traveling. If you did not know this already, I will be the first to tell you that 99% of campground Wi-Fi is completely and truly terrible. It's trash. And if you're thinking about a booster, a lot of people ask booster questions. There's not a booster that's going to solve that problem for you. So don't waste your money on a booster. It's beyond your ability to band-aid it and fix their other problems because the problems they have are multi-layered and lack of investment and lack of hiring good talent to build out their network. So your best way to solve this is bring your own internet, which is what I'm going to discuss today. It's also worth stating that cellular coverage is not everywhere. So it feels like some people don't realize that that's true, but if there's not a tower within a reasonably short distance from you, there is not cell phone access there. There's not cellular data access there either. For cellular to work, they must build cell phone towers or place antennas on buildings, and that coverage will be near those towers. And they don't build those everywhere, especially in unpopulated areas in general. There are some exceptions, but typically the further you are from a populated area, the less likely you are to have cellular access for internet access through that technology. In addition, depending on the plan you have, you may or may not have priority access to the cellular network. Most, if not all, of the budget plans out there do not provide priority access. You are second or third tier behind their paid providers on their primary network as a paid user of their network instead of the third parties. So if you have a cheap plan that says they use the T-Mobile network, yes, you do have access to T-Mobile's network, but you are lower priority. The T-Mobile paid customers will have first priority over you. So if you have one of those plans and your internet really stinks, this would be why. Even when you have solid coverage, you're deprioritized under the priority customers. Also regarding cellular access, just because you see 5 bars, 4 bars, whatever the bars are on your device, it doesn't mean you have great internet. It just means you have a good RF signal, a good radio frequency signal from your device out to their tower. It has nothing to do with how much back-end bandwidth they built to that tower, how the network in that area is built and deployed, or how many other people in the area are there consuming the available bandwidth. Those bars are a very simple metric of your device signal to their tower, nothing more than that. So 5 bars means almost nothing other than signal strength where you're at. And the last point I wanted to make on cellular access is if it is highly congested, your experience on that network will suffer dramatically. In other words, if there's a lot of people in that area, think of Quartzsite, Arizona, where estimated between 750,000 and 1 million people show up every winter for several months to just live in the desert for very low cost or totally free. With that many people, most of them using cellular, if you're anywhere in the area, your cellular service is going to stink very badly. We experienced this ourselves, and I can tell you it's completely true. So between signal strength and infrastructure and congestion and whether or not you're a priority customer, that's a lot of variables that you may or may not have control over in order to get a decent and reasonable, consistent, reliable, high-speed cellular internet connection. However, all that said, for most people, most of the time, most places they go, their little T-Mobile home hotspot plan is working fine for a lot of people. You'll see a lot of people attest to the fact that they have unlimited high speed, they stream all their TV shows, they work, they have T-Mobile or Verizon or fill in the blank, and it works fine. True, if you're in a spot with cellular coverage that's not congested and either you're not deprioritized or it's not so many high priority customers in the area that you're feeling it yet, you could have a good experience. But you cannot rely on this if your internet is that important. The other major option out there besides cellular is satellite-based, and the only player in the market today as of September 2025 is Starlink. Starlink as of now has over 8,000 satellites deployed. Every week they launch 2 or 3 more rockets with up to 28 more Starlink satellites being launched into orbit. So they're getting way ahead of everybody else before they can even launch their network, such as Amazon's Cooper network and others that are talking about it. They have very little in the way of infrastructure launched into space, and it's going to take quite a while to catch up. The plan with Starlink, as they launch thousands more satellites, is the ability to have gigabit Ethernet speeds per user over Starlink. It's already several hundred megabits per second, depending on any number of variables. With the residential plan, in a good area, you can see over 400 megabits per second, which is way more than anybody needs for most basic user traffic, streaming, corporate VPN, WebEx, Microsoft Teams video calls, all that stuff. Works on way less than that. It'll work on, a few tens of megabits per second, much less hundreds of megabits per second. But regardless, Starlink has gotten so good in the past couple of years, we've actually paused our cellular data plans. What we started out with was a Verizon data plan and a T-Mobile data plan on a SIM card inside of a Peplink router that we have. We had all 3 turned on because I simply did not want to be not online for work every Monday morning when we sat down to get busy working. Over time, with Starlink's improvements, I was able to pause the Verizon plan and the T-Mobile plan and only resort to them if I really needed to in certain cases that I'll also discuss today. So as of now, our only internet that we have for our motorhome is Starlink, which is active, on their Roam Unlimited plan. Currently it's $165 a month, which is not a bad cost for truly unlimited internet access literally anywhere if you have a clear view of the sky. So the use cases when we're going to activate the cellular plan is when we're going to be like in Red Bay, Alabama, seeing Tiffin, and every day we have to roll out before 7 a.m. to get to somebody's work bay and then come back at 3 a.m. I really don't want to be setting up and tearing down Starlink. And even though I have considered mounting the Starlink dish permanently on the roof of the RV, so it's just always up there and always on, I haven't done that yet. I recently did route the Starlink router inside the house, so that was a major project. I probably need to share a video about that whole process. But in the meantime, we set the dish on the motorhome roof, and there's a cable up there that I just plug the dish in, and then it comes inside the house. That cable comes inside the house to the router, and that's where it gets power. So it's removing probably 85% of the work to set up and tear down Starlink when we move, but I still have to get the dish out and set it up. And it is quick, it is easy, but it's not as easy if I were to mount that permanently. Another use case for when we might not use Starlink would be if we knew we'd be somewhere with thick tree cover. We'd be able to turn on the data plan that we're going to migrate to, which I'll touch on next, and be able to use cellular wherever we are instead, assuming all the things like coverage and whatnot. So the cellular plan we're going to switch to is called RoamLink. RoamLink is a plan that is unique to Mobile Must-Have. They have worked with all the carriers to provide priority access and priority unlimited access to all the carriers. So we'll drop the Verizon and the T-Mobile data plans and instead add RoamLink. The RoamLink can be paused just like Starlink, so essentially we can have only one or the other active. We could have both active if we want to, but that would be $165 give or take each, so times 2 per month, and we really don't need that because either plan is unlimited, and depending on where we are and what we need, we'll just activate one or the other and pause the other one. So in summary, our internet access from our full-time motorhome life is Starlink and RoamLink. Starlink being satellite based, we use it most of the time. We only switch over to RoamLink when we're going to be under tree cover or in a scenario where every day we've got to roll out to do something or other, whether it's repairs or whatever's going on. We can plan the start and stop of these plans pretty well around their prorated pricing schedule when you pause them or when you start them. I can plan in advance, like before we hit the road soon, I'll be pausing Starlink and starting RoamLink so that as we travel, we'll already have RoamLink in place, and as we get to Red Bay for the next round of visit there, it'll just be active and going. If you have any questions about our internet access, please ask in the comments. I'll be sure to follow up. Thanks for watching.